Hey, look who it is, everybody! It's our friend Jamal Luke, and let's start here. This season, we got to go down to Marietta and meet you, and it was a joy, my friend. You
Yes.
have become one of my favorite Buckeyes. Just your presence, your joy, your enthusiasm. I love following your stuff, man, because if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, let's go see what Jamal's doing. I feel better about life, man.
Man, that means a lot, Eric. First and foremost, thank you and Chris for having me back on the show. It truly was a pleasure to meet y'all down in Marietta, and feel like this is the start of an ongoing friendship and relationship. So thank you so much, and I'm humbled by that. I mean, that means a lot to hear you say that. I just, my goal with every day is just to help each and every person I come in contact with to be better off for having encountered me. So if I can do that, with a post or with a video, then I feel like I've done my job for the day.
Beautiful. Let's start here, Jamal. We have a lot of people who maybe didn't don't know who you are, didn't get a chance to see that interview that we had when we were down in Marietta. Explain to everybody who you are, when you played for Ohio State, because your story it's awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure. So Jamal Luke, born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, grew up. I started playing football at the age of 9, and naturally, every boy that's playing little league football in Columbus, Ohio, has aspirations of one day playing at Ohio State. So I was no different. That was my dream and my goal. My uncle played there in the '70s, and so Ohio State football is in my DNA. And that was when I first started playing football. That was the goal. It was to one day run out of the tunnel of the shoe. And got to high school. I was a late bloomer. Wasn't highly recruited. Ended up going to Tiffin University on a scholarship. Played there my freshman season, and then made the decision after the season was over with, the day before I came home for Christmas break, that I was going to take the leap of faith and transfer to Ohio State and walk on. And had no guarantees, no promises, none of that. And so it was December of '99 when I made that decision. And then ended up having to go to Columbus State for winter quarter, finally got into Ohio State in the spring. And so even that time frame was a little crazy, being 18 years old and being at 3 different colleges in a matter of about 6 months. It was a little bit of a whirlwind, but I was so focused on my goal that I just, whatever the next step was, I just took it and did it and made it happen. And so finally got into Ohio State March of 2000. Went and talked to the coaches and told them that I wanted to walk on. And prior to me getting on campus, I had talks with Coach Conley, who was Bill Conley was the recruiting coordinator at the time, and so we had a relationship there. But he told me, NCAA rules at the time, he couldn't even really talk to me about football until I got on campus. So I had to be an enrolled student and then be on campus, and then he could talk to me about football. And so once I got on the campus that March, the first person I looked up and went and beat down on his door was Coach Conley. And I thought I was going to be able to join the team for the spring or have a tryout or something. And he said, "No, Jamal, I'm sorry, our roster's full, and you'll have to wait until school starts in the fall, and then we'll have to evaluate our numbers." And so I trained really from March to September of 2000, those 6 months on faith, not knowing if I was ever going to get an opportunity to actually play football again. And school started in September. At that time, they had already played a couple games. And, soon that first week of classes, I went and talked to Coach Conley, beat down his door. And he said, "Jamal, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring you in for a week. There's 10 of you that we're going to bring in. We're looking at as walk-ons, and we'll evaluate you guys and see if you fit. And, we'll go from there after this week." And so that one week turned into 4 of us making the team. I was one of the 4, and played that year as a transfer, so I had to sit out. All I could do was practice. That was Coach Cooper's last year. And then blessing in disguise with Coach Tress getting hired, coming in that spring, I was on a clean slate, was already on the team, so now it was just a matter of working up the depth chart and played the next 4 years, won the national championship my junior year, lettered my senior year, and the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome, man. To be in Tempe, man, against Miami, and to
Yeah,
be on that field, brother. Like, it's every person I get the opportunity to talk to who played on that national championship team. I mean, give me your championship story. What do you think about when you think about, hey, that 2002 season, the
yeah.
championship? Give me your what's Jamal's story with that?
So I would say this, Eric. That season was it. It was super special, and it started back with really the way that the Outback Bowl from the previous year ended. When we lost this, if you remember, we lost to South Carolina with a game-winning field goal. But the way that we came back in that game, I don't know if you guys remember the details of it, but the way we came back and we fought together. But that was the start of what would become of the 2002 season. And then we carried that into spring ball. And Coach Tress's the culture shift was huge. So it was a night and day different culture from when Coach Cooper was there. And that culture that Coach Tress built and brought was one of family. And so we were literally playing from a deeper place than I think your average college football team. We were playing as a family, and it can be cliche, but we were really living it and playing that way. And that all is because of the culture that Coach Tress um, brought with him from day one. And so that unity, that camaraderie, that started really at the end of that Outback Bowl. And then we carried that through. And you can see, I mean, so many nail biters that we came out on the right side of in that season. It was because of how tight knit we were, and not wanting to let your brother down, not just your teammate, but your brother. And so Coach Tress had a way of bringing everybody together, from the, the three-time All-American to the last person on the roster. Every person felt like they had a role. And so every day you went out to do your role to the best of your ability, because you didn't want to let your brother down. So that specialness was all created by Coach Tressel. And then we had some incredible leaders on that team as well. And, I think the way that the championship game ended was just a microcosm of how special that team really was altogether.
Sorry, Larry, I kind of stole your question there. My apologies, Larry, on that one. But here is a comment from Paul Buckeye for you, Jamal. He said, "We appreciate you, Jamal, and you are a lifetime Buckeye." He says, "Thanks for coming on, and thank you, Buckeye Boggs and Chris Buckeye. You're absolutely welcome." Paul's going through some physical things right now,
Yeah,
and so our thoughts and prayers are with you, Paul. And
absolutely.
we're behind you, my man. We're behind you.
Yeah.
Chris, you got next question, my friend?
Absolutely. So, Jamal, obviously the championship was huge. Outside of the championship, what is your most fond memory of being a Buckeye?
I would say beating Michigan that year. Just what was on the line. We prior to Coach Tress getting hired, our record against Michigan was not the greatest. So beating Michigan, Coach Tress's first year, was huge, but it was up there, and that was big because it started the shift with things. But what made it so special that next year, that 2002 season, was we had so much riding on the line. And for so long, for so many years, when everything was riding on the game,
Mm-hmm.
we always came up short, right? And so I think subconsciously, a lot of Buckeye fans, um, you know, thought that, oh, here we go again. We're going to find a way to blow it. So coming out on the right side of victory that year, knowing what was riding on the line, and then having the fans rush the field, and I mean, you smelled nothing but alcohol and bad breath, and it was an incredible memory that I'll never forget. I would say that, and then my first time running out of the tunnel onto the field at the shoe. That's one you'll never forget.
So as a walk-on, you probably had to work obviously as hard, but if not harder than everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Because
So
as a walk on, you're fighting a couple different battles. You're
right,
fighting the battle number one of making the team. Then you're fighting the battle of sticking around because the way it works with walk-ons is you may make the team for the fall roster, but then might not make the team for the spring roster or vice
right.
versa, because it's all based on how many scholarship players they're bringing in. Unless you're a walk-on that they're counting on to contribute or potentially contribute in some way.
So who
So
was your favorite guy to go up against in practice?
favorite guy to go up against? Well, favorite or toughest? I mean, there's different.
Hit us with both.
I would say the toughest. The toughest, man, we had so many great corners. So being a wide receiver, I mean, we
Mhm,
always looked forward to one-on-one period where we're going against the DBs one-on-one.
mhm.
Um, and I don't know if I can say the toughest, but I will say here's a group of the toughest that come to mind. Nate Clements, Derrick Ross, Chris Gamble, I would say are probably the three toughest DBs that I ever went against one-on-one, for sure. Um, Favorite probably would be a guy by the name of Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore was a defensive back, and we walked on at the same time. He was from Columbus, and we used to have some really, really good battles. And because we were both in the same hunt as trying to climb up the depth chart, and so
Right,
our one-on-one battles were extra spirited because we're both trying to make a name for ourselves.
right.
So that I would say from a favorite perspective, he would probably be my favorite.
All right.
I got one for you, Jamal.
Yeah.
Who was the best trash talker on that team? And you
Oh,
can't say
Mm.
Jamal Luke.
No, it wasn't me. I didn't talk too much unless it started coming at me, then I would go back, but I never initiated. Um, Trash talker. I I'd say probably on the O2 team, probably hmm, come back to me on that one,
All right,
man.
I'll come back to you on that one.
Yeah, come back to me on that.
Who on the O2 team was the craziest locker room, weight room freak?
Um, we had a couple of those. So I would say probably Mike Kudla definitely was one of them. Rest in peace, Mike. Great, great guy. Super freakish athlete. Strong as could lift the world and run. Um, Will Smith, rest in peace, Will. Another freakish athlete, super strong. Um, One of the sneakiest athletes on that team, who, if you looked at him, I mean, in college he had a dad bod. We talk about the dad bod now. He had it in college, but was a legit would roll out of bed and run a 4.40 and jump a 40-inch vertical was Dustin Fox.
oh,
Dustin.
Yes. Yes. I
Someone's
kid
gonna
you
send
not.
this to him.
I kid you not. Dustin Fox. Dustin will tell you. Dustin had a dad bod in college, but one of the most gifted athletes I've ever played with.
Oh, that's great. Worst locker room in the Big Ten.
Uh, I probably have to say Iowa.
Oh, it's got to be Iowa, right?
Yeah,
Isn't it
the
pink?
pink. Yeah, yeah, Iowa. We got to go with Iowa on that one.
All right. Here's a question from a listener. Larry Daniels says, any player or coaches who helped you grow or mature as a player or man? Great question.
Great question, Larry. So my position coach, Coach Joe Daniels, God rest his soul as well. A lot of life lessons with him. Great man. Um, but I would say honestly, the most influential for me personally was Coach Tress. Um, Coach Tress just really, and to this day, I mean, if there's major life decisions that I'm going to make, he's one of the first people I call to seek wisdom and guidance. He he's the first person that really um, enlightened me, and I think I would venture to say all of us on the value of working harder on yourself than anything else you do. And so that's a principle that I've carried now through the rest of my life and that I teach to other people. And what Coach Trust taught us was, if you always work harder on becoming a better man, everything else will take care of itself because you're not going to slack in your workouts. You're not going to slack in the classroom because of the person that you are and who you're becoming. And so he was the first person that really um, made that clear to me. And so, he had us on a reading program. I didn't read books for pleasure outside of, I never read books outside of what we had to read for a class, but he was the first man that said, hey, we're going to read this book and I want you to be able to tell me what you pulled out of it. And so now reading books is a part of my daily success habit. So I would say Coach Tress for sure, the most influential.
Beautiful. Real quick, give me your favorite or funniest one of the two, or most important Jim Tressel's story. Something you got that okay, you smiling. Oh, you got one already. Go for it.
Well, definitely, it was when Coach Tress got cornrows in his hair, had braids in his hair.
Wait, what?
So yeah, you guys ever heard this one?
I,
No.
it, I have not heard this.
Okay, so he makes this bet, this bet with Richard McNutt, who's now a assistant coach down at Tennessee State with Eddie. But he had this bet with Richard McNutt that we win the national championship, he would get cornrows in his hair. And so obviously we won it, beat Miami. So for 6 a.m., it was the first day of 6 a.m. workout. So 6 a.m. workout. So the national championship game, I think, was first week of January, like January 4th or something. We get, the next 2 to 3 weeks off, and then we start 6 a.m. workouts in February. And so the first 6 a.m. workout, Coach Tress shows up with with braids in his hair and a stocking cap.
Oh my gosh. Please tell me there's a picture of this somewhere out
I
there.
wish. I'm sure
Oh,
there's got to be somewhere. But yeah, so that by far that's the most hilarious story.
Chris, you get a question ready here in a second. Here, this one's from Donald Hoffer. He says, in your opinion, who would get a monument in the honor at the Horseshoe? Who should get a monument in their honor at the Horseshoe, in your opinion?
Monument, it like a statue?
I think you mean
Yeah.
statue. Yeah.
A statue? Oh, okay. Coach Tressel, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because I think if you look at where Ohio State football is now as a national power, where it was before he got there, where he took it, and where it's gone since then, I think it's clear and easy to say that because of him, the program is what it is today and what it'll be forever. I think he's the one coach out of all the coaching history tree that made the most monumental strides.
Chris, go for it.
All right, Jamal, you've done so much since your playing days. Motivational speaking, entrepreneur, you're a role model. What accomplishment are you most proud of since you've stopped playing football? And do you feel that your football career and what you went through as far as attaining your dreams as a player helped you prepare for this?
Yeah, absolutely. So the most successful achievement is definitely my kids, being a dad. My three babies, Annalisa, London, and Micah, just being their dad like that, they're my world. So everything that I went through as a Buckeye, the life lessons that I learned from playing the game of football at that level for that university and for that coach have prepared me to be a dad more than anything else in my life has. So by far, that would be my answer for those.
Okay.
It's a beautiful answer, my man. It's a beautiful answer.
Appreciate that, man.
All right. You have shared with us, with me personally, some of the things you're doing. And I got to be honest with you, man. I've watched these videos. I am intrigued. I've learned some things. So, I'm going to be hitting you up. Don't you worry.
Yes.
Um, Tell everybody what Jamal Luke is doing today and how you can help them and their health, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Eric. So I have a couple businesses, motivational speaking, and I do business coaching as well. But one of the new business ventures that I just launched about a month ago now, I partnered with a company called Bella Vita. Bella Vita is a company based out of Miami in the direct sales network marketing space. They have an all natural nutritional supplement line. So there's 6 core products that we market. I am personally growing their U.S. expansion. I'm heading up their U.S. expansion. So I'm really looking right now to take the company, which is at about a $50 million a year company. They'll be 3 years old in May. Really looking to get it to well over $100 million company by the end of the year. And so 6 products that we market, and they're all in the what we call biohacking arena, helping your body to really, through a natural supplement, go to the next level. So we have an all natural energy product, which for brain function, brain clarity. And then we have a collagen product, a liquid, and they're all liquid and they come in like these little snaps. So about the size of my palm. And they have a perforated back. So they just literally fold in half. You snap it and squirt it in your mouth. Right. So you'll feel this is our energy product. You feel that within 10 minutes. And it's all natural, so there's no crash there. Liquid collagen product, which is obviously good for skin, hair, nails, muscle toning, but also has a nitric oxide booster in it for stamina. So whether you're using it as a pre-workout like I do, or just everyday life wanting to get more out of your activities, that product is going to be a game changer for you. We have a sleep and slim product, which helps you not only get to sleep, but stay asleep in REM longer. But as you're sleeping, also turns your bad fat into good fat. So you'll notice a lot of good stuff happening around fellas for your core with fat burning. And then we also have other products that are geared towards fat burning as well through a natural way. And then we also have our non-liquid product, which is what I'm wearing here. It's an EMF blocker. So EMFs, if you aren't familiar with it, are electromagnetic rays that we get from Wi-Fi, 5G, AirPods, laptops. So we're constantly, surrounded with these EMFs. But this is something that actually puts a protective, almost bubble around you, and it's a grounding. It grounds you to the Earth's temperature. So if you've ever walked outside or walked on the beach barefooted, and that kind of serene, peaceful feeling you feel is because your body's grounded to the Earth's temperature. So this product actually does that as well. So that's just kind of an overview of our product line. If anybody's listening, needs help with sleep or needs more energy or is looking to get more out of their workouts or is looking to, protect yourself from EMFs, definitely give me a shout. Would love to talk to you more in depth about the product line and, see if it may be a fit for your lifestyle.
Jamal, where can people get in touch with you when it comes to these products?
So you can reach out to me on any of the social media um, avenues. JLukeYDC, JLUKEYDC on Instagram. You can shoot me a direct message. I'm on Facebook. You can look me up and shoot me a direct message there. You can email me as well, Jamal Luke, JamalLuke 777 at gmail.com. So any of those avenues, you can reach out directly and we'll connect.
So I know for a fact I'm going to be getting the sleeping one. That's going to happen. That's happening for this old boy. So I'm going to
It's a
try that
game
out.
changer. It's a game changer. Like for me, I never had trouble going to sleep. I always had trouble staying asleep. And the
Bingo.
first night I took that product, I slept straight through the night and I woke up feeling like super rested. I didn't realize how much non-REM sleep I was getting during the night and why I was, wake up and still feeling tired all the time until I started taking that supplement and realized like, oh, you are, not getting rest at night. So yeah, that was a game changer from night one for me.
Larry Daniels says, thanks, Jamal, for your contributions to Buckeye Nation and your community. Yes, thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate you, man.
All right, last question, Jamal. It's
Yes.
coming. You know it's coming. I ask everybody. All right, here we go. And by the way, I'm going to let you off the hook on the trash talker. But the next time you come on, we're going to bring you back. I want to hear not only who the best trash talker was, but we'll have to make it PG.
Yeah.
PG rated. His family show. What kind of trash talk he was doing? So,
Okay.
all right.
Right.
So, what does it mean to Jamal Luke to be a Buckeye?
Responsibility. I think it means you have a responsibility to Buckeye Nation to represent with class, with dignity. You have a responsibility to the fans to continue to represent with class and dignity. And then you have a responsibility to people that look up to you, that look up to the university to be an example of class and dignity. And then to the younger people, to the youth, you have a responsibility to show them what's possible, to pour into them, to pay it forward. So if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be responsibility.
Good answer. Well done. Larry says he'd like us to post links of your product. So we will do that, Larry. We will post links on our Facebook page. I know you're on our Facebook page. You know me personally. So, Larry, we will post some links of that on our Facebook page. And then when we repost this interview, Jamal, later in the week on YouTube, in the comment section, I'll post that link as well.
Okay.
So people can get in touch with you that way as well. All right, guys, that's our show for this week. It's 9:00. Jamal probably has to get them kids in bed. And I know I've got to get myself in bed. I got to work tomorrow as well, although my wife's on spring break. She works for the school, so she's lucky. But
Yeah,
I
she
don't.
is lucky. I'm going back tomorrow.
Yeah, you're going back. You had your spring break already. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're so thankful to bring you on, Jamal. We're gonna have you back, man.
Yes, anytime.
Yeah, it's awesome having you back. Here's another one. Brad Oberding said, "Thanks, Jamal. Great show, guys. So thank you so much, Brad, for hanging around and participating tonight. We appreciate that. All right, guys, that's the show. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in St. Carmen, Ohio, with all your heart. Till next time, OH.
IO.
Yo.
Go Bucks.